News with Gina.
The news with Gina Grad.
I don't want to say I got a symbolic victory in that game, but if you take my two half answers, Danny Boy, and then the other one, and combine them, and then you take the movie which should have been Valkyrie, and you count that, and then
in first place,
and then you picture a world where there was a movie starring Bruce Willis called Navageddon. You combine that,
you're shooing.
I got the win easily. And later on in the week, I'm going to release the Kraken, and you guys have all the information you need.
Can't wait for that. Well, starting off with some piping hot Tom Cruise news.
Ooh.
After his tongue lashing the other day, 5 crew members have walked off the set.
Whoa.
This movie's still going?
Rather than take the abuse from Tom, they took an early Christmas break, and in Tom's immortal words, they're freaking gone, because that's what he threatened everybody with. A source on the set said tension had been running high anyway. Then Cruise erupted with anger under the stress to finish Mission Impossible 7 under strict regulations, and more importantly, before Christmas Eve. The insider claims since Tom's outburst became public, there's been more anger. He's upset others aren't taking it as seriously as him. 3 months ago, Cruise reportedly chartered that docked ship so the movie, so the crew could isolate. So he's going, above and beyond, and he wants this movie done.
Couple thoughts. Tom Cruise must tell stories where he's like, I was in my hotel room the other night, getting ready to run to my bed. And I had this thought. Also, tongue lashing is one of those things that definitely sounds better than it is, Because if you found out that Elle Macpherson was going to give you a tongue lashing, you'd be like, sign me up.
Yeah.
If you didn't know what it
Good
was.
line.
And then also, isn't this guy a Scientologist? I mean, isn't that supposed to kind of smooth you out a little, kind of, even you out, take some of the edges off?
Think where he'd be without it.
Oh, that's a good.
Oh boy,
that's a good point.
Well, I don't know if you've seen all of the Leah Remini TV shows that I have, or all the documentaries, but the guy at the top gets a little handsy with people sometimes when he's angry.
Miscavige.
So I think David Miscavige. So there might be some light, some dusting of abuse,
They ever
but
find
who's to say?
that guy's wife go missing?
Shelley is missing. I don't know.
I don't think she's been seen in many years.
There is whispered hush talk that she is in that that tunnel prison in Hemet that they have.
They have a compound in
in Hemet.
Oh, in Hemet. All right.
Yeah. Who's to say?
Not us.
So vaccine news, Mike Pence is scheduled to get the vaccine now as you're hearing this. But guess who beat him to the punch? Sir Ian McKellen. He got the vaccine. He's 81 years old, and he was eligible to receive the first wave of vaccines, and he didn't hesitate. I think we have a picture of that. He says, anyone who has lived as long as I have, because they've has lived as long as I have and is alive because they have had previous vaccinations, I would encourage everybody to do the sensible thing, not just for themselves, but for everybody else, because if you're virus-free, that helps everybody else, doesn't it? So he's on board. Pence is on board. AdamCarolla is on board.
Yeah, everyone I know is on board. Also, I think the lady from the Great British Bake Off, at least I saw on TMZ last night.
All the greats
got it as well. So when we're getting into, deep cable and baking shows, we're in pretty good pandemic shape. That's the way I look at it.
Well, not everybody wants to wear a mask on a plane. Not everybody can wear a mask on a plane, or so they claim. And so a Russian airline is making special accommodations for them. So it's Aeroflot, Russia's flagship airline. They announced this week that passengers who refuse to wear a mask on board will be seated in a designated maskless area of the plane. So you're not going to get denied boarding. You're basically just going to be sitting in the last 2 rows. There's no information about if there's anything separating those people from the rest of the passengers, but that is the way they're going to handle this. You just sit in the back, like the smoking section.
What I've learned from flying commercial is even if they did put a division between the two areas, somebody would leave their area to take a shit in my area. That's what I've learned from flying first class over the years.
Right.
You cannot tell them that bathroom is not theirs. It's, the one that they bought a ticket for is 86 feet behind them and has 3 people in it. And the one in first class is 12 foot forward and is empty. They're doing it there. So whatever divider you put up in an airplane, people will just go right the fuck through it and take a shit. That much I know.
That's true. Well, that's why the smart money is on the flight attendants in Asia who've been encouraged to wear adult diapers.
You want to talk about short straw in the stewardess department? The aforementioned DiCaprio's private jet has got to be the best gig ever in terms of the flight attendant. The Russian airline maskless section is there could be no lower draw than that when it comes to being a flight attendant, right?
Yeah, that's the nuts worst.
A good point.
Aren't adult diapers meant for people who have leaking problems? They're not meant for you just to let it all go
For full release.
Yeah, it's like, when I sit down, this happens. I think overall we need to re-educate people that adult diapers aren't just so you can shit your pants whenever you want.
That's
right?
a very good point.
Well,
they're for incontinence.
Yeah.
they were designed for one thing.
Well, but I think it's like I see the commercials. The chicks are in the park doing yoga, and there's no way she went to the park to piss herself.
Exactly. I mean, it's accidental. Yeah.
Yeah, she had a hysterectomy 9 months ago, and she's a little worried about the instructor when she gets into the down dog, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
So this Asian airline is just part of employment is that you have to be comfortable and able. By the way, if you gave me $1,000, I'm not sure I could just go.
You're right.
Fully clothed.
This was the suggestion of the flight administration.
Right.
Hey, this is something because we don't want you going in and out of those ransacked, disease-filled bathrooms.
Right. But feel free to, shuffle around paying customers with
a load.
This is the second time this week that adult diapers has come up in an involved discussion on this show.
Well, and I didn't mean to kind of make this be the one to talk about, but I just think there's a misconception that adults just want to crap themselves. By the way, I once had to roast Tony Siragusa, that old
Baltimore Ravens tackle.
Yeah.
Nose guard.
Of course. Yeah, I was going to say.
Of course. But he was the spokesman for Depends adult diapers for a while. And I remember when we roasted him, his people were like, hey, just do us a favor and don't talk about the Depends thing. And I'm like, that is the biggest.
That's it.
That's the one thing we can't talk about?
That would be at the top of every comic's leaderboard if you're roasting someone to talk about Depends. Tony Siragusa.
But I don't think he was just unloading in his pants. I think, but my guess would be that because of years of difficult tackling, every once in a while, some slippage comes out. I don't know why I got all pumped up about this news topic.
You're passionate.
Well,
passionate about the topic.
I see more and more adult diaper commercials as I get older. It could be I'm watching too much Fox as well. I don't know yet.
Maybe
if I watch a little Nickelodeon, I'd probably see less. Well, it hasn't been proven, but I'm going to test it out over the weekend. But the other one I would see was the commercial for the medication that you needed to take because you took too many painkillers and you can't take a shit.
Now you got to poop, yeah.
And I envision an America 5 years from now where half the population is wearing a diaper and the other is on so many painkillers that they haven't shit in 3 weeks.
Dude, that's possible, by the way, because that balance, so chemotherapy does the same thing as the painkillers. It stops you up, and you got to balance that out with Dulcolax and all the shit, no pun intended.
It's called Dulcolax.
That's a delicate balance, how much of that to take. It's a real trial and error. And when I say error, that's where the diapers come in. Yeah. Your singularity is not that far away.
Yeah, well, we just divide America into 2 groups, the diaper wearers and the ones that couldn't shit no matter how many diapers they had on.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Michael, in terms of comedy themes. I had the idea the other day, which was, kids' diapers, and I have 14-year-old twins, so I recall this period. The girls have the Disney princesses on them, and the guys' diapers have the cars, the Pixar cars on there, or Power Rangers or whatever the hell it is. And it's kind of festive and it's kind of cool. I was thinking, why don't adult diapers have themes? Why can't we put stuff on the adult
Fighting
diaper?
Irish diapers?
Yeah, you got a team. Maybe you love Margaret Thatcher. You know what I mean? Why can't they represent?
Yeah, and certainly the adult diaper industry wants Big Diaper wants, well, especially after Siragusa uses it, but they want us to feel more comfortable with this. They're really trying to downplay this being a big event. Hey, it's all good. You can do yoga in the park, even though we can all see the diaper outline in that commercial.
Your visible diaper line.
I'm no diaper technician, but is there such a thing as a thong diaper, Gina?
To really defeat the purpose.
There should be.
There should definitely be a PGA sponsorship, like your favorite golfer,
How many
or your least favorite?
All right.
Excuse me, your least favorite golfer.
For sure, Fuzzy Zeller for me. Is how many celebrities and sports icons passed on the diaper before they got to Siragusa? They had to start with Tom Brady.
Yeah.
And then, what's Bob Greasy up to or something?
Every retired, nameth Greasy.
It had to be a hard no from all their people. You don't just start with Siragusa.
Bad news,
No,
Tom.
that's not
Zonka said no.
That's right.
But that's a big payday, right, Adam?
You don't have to be.
You don't say yes to that unless it is a, big payday.
Speaking of a big payday, they need something to represent the shit because all those tampon and maxi pad commercials, they got the blue dye.
Blue and purple.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How come no such luck with the diapers? Where's our representation?
That's right.
And I argue a big payday would do it nicely.
There is a device.
Thanks, Gina. It took a minute. Are people not getting that joke? Payday the candy bar. Sorry. A big payday.
There is some device that some click hole I went down. It's like a portable bidet.
Yeah.
And it's certainly for city folk. Anyone who's lived in New York knows there are days when you leave the house and you cannot find a bathroom that you can use all day. So you just have to whatever. But to refer to what you were just saying, Adam, something has, the blue dye equivalent to crap. They used hummus on on a glass pane, and they kind of showed you and I thought that was actually quite tasteful, pardon the pun, of because you have to do something to reference crap.
Wow, they used hummus.
Wow.
Did they say it was hummus, or
did they visibly open the Sabra?
It showed the glass pane with hummus on, and then it kind of showed you the power of the bidet. And I watched this commercial way too long, so excuse me for butting in with this.
All right. I was going to go to Zanku for lunch, but scrub that.
Well, they had was it called the Stadium Pal or the Stadium Buddy, which is like an external catheter that you tape onto your penis and then strap it to your leg. So you just have hot pee next to your shin for the whole game.
Yeah.
Chris Loxamana, back me up. Any serious gambler has given consideration to the adult diaper. Like anyone who's doing a session at the
You're on a hot
table.
streak.
Yeah, I'm not leaving that craps table. Crap.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, there's the famous NASA astronaut, that woman, right? She wore the diaper.
We talked about that.
Yeah.
To go on her.
Apparently, I was mistaken. She was going to give her guy a tongue lashing for sleeping with somebody else. She wasn't the one committing the infidelity.
No, she was going to give him a bullet lashing, I thought.
Yeah, that too.
Well, hell hath no fury like a woman with a full diaper who's traveled through 9 counties to get to you.
So there was a device called the Sneaky Leaker. and it was that catheter thing as well. And it was
Sounds
sold
like a wrestler.
Yeah, and it was sold in New Orleans during Mardi Gras.
Smart.
Because you'd be trapped in these parades. But my brother always liked to call it the leaky sneaker instead, which I thought was just a great brother joke.
I saw the commercial. They would use Baba Ganoush to represent the Dawson.
Since we're still on this, I knew a guy in college who went to Chico State, and every St. Patrick's Day, which is, obviously a huge drinking holiday in college, the bars would open up at 4 a.m. and he would be in front of the line. He would wear his adult diaper. He would get on the bar stool and not leave that bar stool until he passed out. He would just sit there and pee his pants.
And the lucky gentlewoman that he meets and takes home that evening.
That's Gavin Newsom.
Do you think, are these two statements equivalent? When you'd listen to like Dr. Laura and someone would go, I'm calling for a friend. I have erectile difficulties and I want to know if it's the warts that are causing that for a friend. I knew a guy in college.
Yeah.
It's about
I threw
the same
in Chico
batting.
State as a red herring, too. I'm sorry, you got me.
About the
You
same
got me.
ratio.
I know a handsome fella.
That's right. What else we got, Gina? Can we find that commercial with the hummus? Do we know what that thing's called?
You might have to Google portable bidet and see what comes up.
Yeah, I found one with a peanut butter bagel, but I'm looking for the hummus.
What?
Hold on. I need clarification. Peanut butter on the bagel?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Peanut butter.
Okay.
They slathered peanut butter all over the
that
bagel.
makes a difference.
Yeah, they washed it out.
All right.
Whew. Well, these two guys might need an adult diaper. I'm really not sure what condition they're in right now because Steve-O and Johnny Knoxville landed in the hospital 2 days into filming Jackass 4. Bam Margera broke the news in a video revealing the injuries. He says, second day of filming Jackass, and already Steve-O and Knoxville are hospitalized by jumping on a full-speed treadmill with band equipment, including a tuba.
Oh, boy.
So Jackass will be the first film involving the whole Jackass cast to be made since the death of cast member Ryan Dunn in 2011. He was 34. The fourth movie opens March 5th, 2021, allegedly. Hoping everybody gets back together.
Well, both good dudes. Johnny's a great guy, and Steve we know as well. And that's a funny bit if you're kind of picturing holding a tuba or trombone or piccolo or whatever and jumping.
Those are hilarious movies.
Jumping on a full speed treadmill, but yeah, it's gotta happen.
The personal excitement for shooting these things must be getting lower for them. I mean, as you get older, just the thought of jumping. I mean, there are moments when I wake up and lay in bed and I go, okay, I'm going to have to stand up now. Let's see what happens to my back.
Well,
and I'm 41. I mean, these guys, their bodies are like 300 years old. I just can't imagine they have the same level of enthusiasm for these bits.
That's true. But Steve-O did say something to the effect on this show of he really does do these stunts with a full, with clarity now because he's sober, which makes them extra intense and extra terrifying.
Sure.
Yeah, I experienced this last night, and it's one of those getting old moves where I walked upstairs to the bedroom to go to bed, got to the bed, realized I left my eye mask, my eye shade mask in my office, and I just stood next to my bed and was like, ugh, gotta go back. Gotta go all the way back down the stairs. Yeah. Got to take that shade off when you're in the bedroom. You can't do that move where you pull it up and put it on your forehead and go about your business because it'll always get left somewhere. All right. What else we got, Gina Grad?
Well, since we're talking about entertainment, we got a couple of reboots coming our way. NBC is developing a sequel series to Night Court, according to Variety.
Oh, boy.
We've been begging for it. Original series star John Larroquette will return as Dan Fielding, while Big Bang Theory star Melissa Rauch will executive produce.
Hey, you ever see that actor who played Bull? You ever see that guy run? It is a shit show.
Lanky fella.
It's
like one of those car dealerships.
It's fucking hard. It's hard to watch.
So
Richard Mull? No, Richard.
No.
Mull? Cole?
No.
Richard?
Mull?
I think you're actually right. I'm sorry. I think you're right. Richard Mull. I think that's right.
Yeah.
I was thinking Martin Mull.
Yeah. I don't think he's with us. I think he was claimed by a ceiling fan many years ago.
Richard Moll. Moll. Moll.
All right, I'll take credit for Richard Moll.
Yeah. So this version will follow, quote, unapologetic optimist judge Abby Stone, daughter of the original series character Harry Stone. And wait, there's more. Seth MacFarlane is producing a reboot of Revenge of the Nerds. Keith and Kenny Lucas, the identical twin brothers known for co-starring in 22 Jump Street, are set to write and star in it. According to Variety, the movie won't be a remake. Instead, the contemporary reimagining will pontificate about today's nerd culture and what even constitutes a geek.
But you can't have a revenge. The nerds have won.
They won.
Yeah, right.
Tech
We're
is
living Revenge of the Nerds.
They're the alpha betas.
Yeah, it should be Revenge of the Jocks, or
That's right.
it's like, interesting.
Good point.
The Night Court was one of those TV shows where I can't tell if it was good or bad. It was just on TV. And back when there was 3 channels and you had nothing else to watch, you just watch Night Court.
You sure did.
And I don't know
Marky
that
Post.
no one ever loved it. It was just there.
Yep.
This is one of the few shows I ever watched and was aware of as a child. Wasn't the initial, much like John Stamos in Full House, where he was like, he's kind of Elvis rockabilly guy at first, then just kind of became Uncle Jesse. Wasn't Harry Anderson's thing like he was into magic? Like
Yes,
he
he's
was
a magician.
magic trick or something, and they kind of scuttled that.
Yeah,
I don't remember them scuttling it. I think he was a magician.
Yeah, he in real life is into it.
I know what I'm saying. I don't know if
Yeah.
it became much of the show after a year or whatever. I don't know the fuck.
They did it. I think it was incorporated in all the way through the seasons. I will say, but I don't know.
Okay, I just had this like traumatic memory of the last episode of Night Court. Am I right in that the series finale, Bull Shannon gets taken by aliens?
We can check.
Isn't he standing like in Harry's like chambers and then like a light comes on him? I
sounds
feel like this is
somewhat
not a
familiar.
dream.
Do you know that song, They Paved Paradise and Put Up a Parking Lot?
Joni Mitchell.
Okay, that to me is the Night Court of songs. I don't think I like it. I don't even think it's well made, but it is on all the time.
You're aware
I
of it.
am aware of it, and I know all the words of it.
Yeah, I agree. And also, you ever seen John Larroquette run? It's bad. He's like 6'4", that dude.
I've not.
We have your portable bidet commercial ready
Oh, great.
with hummus.
I'm so glad that, yeah.
Put
Into the water bottle.
Tube goes in
Right
the
over
water
the
bottle.
water bottle.
Then they turn it over.
Yeah.
Oh,
Power spray hummus.
So is that better than, yeah.
At least they didn't dollop the hummus onto the plate.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, so you put it in clay mask. Oh, I see. Yeah,
They're like power washing the glass.
it shows just how much it can take off. So basically, this thing, you drop a hose into a water bottle, and then you have pressurized water, right?
And kudos to your production crew for finding that. But the one that I looked at was even different. So multiple portable bidet companies have decided in their brainstorm meetings that hummus is a fair representation.
Well, maybe it's Big Hummus wanting to move product.
That's
you know
right.
what I mean?
No, I see this as big hummus.
Maybe there's some crossover here.
pretty logical.
Big chickpea.
The thing about the portable bidet is, doesn't all the runoff end up in your pants? Or like, how do you...
Now, where do you aim that?
I feel like I would have to lay on my back on a sewer grate to really properly pull this maneuver off. And that would draw eyeballs because, after all, I am a celebrity.
Yeah, you got to go on a
Right.
bicycle maneuver where your elbows and shoulder blades are on the ground, propping you up.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God.
That's your only option.
On the dirty floor, which is why you have the bidet.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I could do this, or I could just shit at home.
I mean, the problem also is you have to carry around a 2 liter of water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Soda water, yeah.
I gotta believe that all the Starbucks on every corner has added to this problem, because how many times does this happen? And if you're listening at home, we're just going to dedicate another 20 minutes to shit talk, and then we're going to cap it.
So I started this. I'm sorry. Actually,
we're going to cap
Gina
it.
started it, but
we'll cap it at a tight 40. How many times does this happen to you? You get up in the morning, you have your morning constitution, you're feeling pretty good about yourself. You go up, you go into the kitchen, pour yourself a nice big piping hot black cup of Joe. And then you start sucking on the coffee and you start walking out to your car, and at some point you stop and you go, oh, there's more in the hopper. Like the thing about coffee will find shit you didn't know you had.
That's right.
You think that pencil's out of lead. It isn't. You just haven't. You have to use coffee. Coffee will find it. You can go and take the biggest shit in the morning, ever in the morning, but at some point you're drinking coffee and it's like, there's something else in there. So think about all the people that take the dump in Manhattan, leave the apartment, grab the latte, the tall boy latte, start walking for the subway, and then like, oh, wait a minute.
Got to get one of those quarters, get back in the bathroom.
This is why diuretics, this is why performance enhancing, athletes, it's illegal for them to take diuretics, not because it increases their performance, because it pulls literally everything out of their body and flushes it. So even if you do steroids, you have some diuretics, it's gone. And I would argue that coffee is a diuretic, of course. And why? The term diuretic, we're just getting so close there.
It's funny when you were talking about performance enhancing and pulling everything out of your body, I was thinking, well, that would help if you were pole vaulting. Yeah. But I don't know, for the hammer throw, I don't.
Right.
Yeah. What else we got, Gina Grad?
So a San Francisco district is planning to rename a school named after Abraham Lincoln because the former president did not demonstrate that Black lives mattered to him, according to the Daily Mail. The president, who is often held up as an American hero for abolishing slavery, is just one of 44 historical figures soon to have their names scratched off schools within San Francisco in the Unified School District. Other names include George Washington, Herbert Hoover, Senator Dianne Feinstein, whose name will be stripped from the elementary school of her name. You know why? Because in 1984, when she was mayor, she allowed the Confederate flag to fly outside City Hall. The district's renaming committee decided Lincoln is not worthy of keeping his name on Abraham Lincoln High School because, quote, the majority of his policies proved to be detrimental to Native Americans.
Oh, wait a minute. Lincoln, this is Native Americans. This isn't. Well, he didn't prove he was down with the Black Lives Matter?
It's all encompassing.
What was his take on the space program? And other shit that didn't exist for 200 years.
He never hashtagged BLM once on Abraham Lincoln's Instagram page.
I do love the fact that if you're some Yenta Karen and you scroll out BLM and go down to the fucking rally so you can hear what Common has to say and yell at a poor boy, somehow you're in. But if you emancipate slaves, get them out of here.
About as good as it gets.
Jesus fucking Christ. Well,
I used to live at Gardner and Sunset, and there was the Michael Jackson Elementary School there.
Oh, really?
So there was Michael Jackson Elementary, but then all the news came out, and they put this giant sign over his name for many years. And then he died, and they took the sign down. So it was like he was in, he was out, he was in.
They didn't just make it after the AM talk radio guy, Michael Jackson?
Correct. I think, yeah. I mean, I think that's the one I'm referring to. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, if Abe Lincoln is on the table for dismissal, like if he's on the table for cancel culture, we're all vulnerable.
Frederick Douglass is next.
Coming for you next, Carolla.
Amelia Earhart, fucking check your mirrors, bitch. You didn't fly barely any black people.
Don't forget, remember a story, I think it was from last year or earlier this year, a statue of Mahatma Gandhi being taken down.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
an
now
asshole.
I can see. And also, we're going to have to be careful when we name future elementary schools and bridges because they're going to go, well, we're thinking about going with Alex Trebek. And I'm going to go, well, that's problematic. And people are going to go, why? And I go, because he was fucking born. And that's the time we're living
Just
in.
you wait.
So everyone who's been born is off.
Yep.
We're going to have to come up with people who haven't been born.
No, just an animal. That's why you put up a bear or an eagle, or because it's, or this is why previous civilizations have created Zeus and Athena, because it was just easier to do that.
Right.
That's true.
Yeah, but I don't like, Michael, I don't like that you pick those very predatory animals. I think that's also very problematic.
My apologies.
Yes, and
New York's got it figured out with the PS 182.
Yeah, that's right.
Whatever.
Yeah, the public school system, yeah.
I know, but it's always so anticlimactic when you're talking to someone from New York. You go, where'd you go? And everyone else like, out here. Like, I went to Burroughs. I went to Kennedy. Like, and then you go, where'd you go? I went to P-7R.
Well,
It's like, blah. It sounds like a license plate that was near the school.
it does.
I like names on schools, right? I mean, remember, I'm trying to think. So when I was at, my high school, I was at North Hollywood High, so nothing.
Yeah, they're just named after the district.
Nothing there. But we would play Kennedy. There was Lincoln. They had Burroughs. Muir. I think we played probably John Muir or something.
John Muir.
Had a John Muir out there.
Problematic.
Yeah. Polly.
Did he love trees too much? What's wrong with John Muir?
Don't know. I definitely did something to a black person at some point. Polly High, Van Nuys, Grant. There was a Grant.
Oh,
what about Grant?
Go.
Grant's and Van Nuys. Grant's got to go, right?
It can't still be Grant.
Is Grant still Grant? I think Grant is still Grant.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, there's Monroe. That's right.
Maryland.
I don't know. Oh, Monroe. Yeah. Probably president, but
Sure.
What Grant? What was Grant?
Ulysses S.
Ulysses.
Grant?
I guess. It's just Grant. The kids there were so fucking dumb. They have no idea what it was. They just think a grant's like a free loan, right?
Well, that's also the thing is never in the education of those schools do they take a day and teach the kids the name of the person. I mean, that would be wonderful if they did, but they never do. I start going through the schools in my head, and I go, I don't know, all my schools. I don't know if these were people, ideas.
Well, I know this would get me thrown out of the groundlings, but when I went to Walter Reed Junior High, I now know that Walter Reed invented the cure for malaria, I think, which is they did give us a stupid little symposium on who Walter Reed was. Yes, Ulysses S. Grant High School. And I don't know. I'm going to label it problematic, and we'll see if it. Yes,
he's considered one of our worst presidents in the bottom quartile usually. So maybe history has not shined a positive light on him.
Well, George Washington Carver. Yeah, we're going to have to start doing my joke, basically, which was when I did some pilot, blah blah blah, animated, blah blah blah. But if you can see that, if we can find the beginning of that, it's. I did this 10 years ago, but it was George Washington Junior High, but we just put Carver on it. And then it was home of the Braves, but we got rid of the Braves and put a Viking helmet on it. And it seemed like a joke at the time, but I don't know. The price of a new sign, I think they're going to be modified. All right, let's do one more, Gina Grad.
All right. So authorities in Indiana are searching for a murder suspect who escaped from a prison transport van. How did he do that? Well, police said that this 22-year-old Leon Taylor was being transferred from O'Hare in Chicago, the airport, to Lake County, Indiana, when the driver of the van got a little peckish, stopped at a McDonald's drive-thru to grab some food. While they were waiting in line, Taylor reportedly asked the driver to roll down the window so he could just spit out the window. When the window was open, Taylor managed to shimmy out of the vehicle and run off. And by the way, handcuffed and fitted with leg restraints, pulled this off, and they still haven't found him.
Well, I want that man to be free because he's got something
He
called
wanted it.
he's got something called moxie. You know,
Yeah, he's got grit.
He reminds me of me when I was a young prisoner.
Shimmying out of the back of cars.
It is very, very hard to not root for an escaped prisoner. And then the media always tries to remind you of why they're in there in the first place. But I'm sorry, you got out. Those two guys in New York, when they broke out and they were on the run for 3 months.
Yeah.
Oh, I was every day searching the internet for more stories about them, rooting for them. And finally they ruined it by saying one of them killed a couple people. And I was like, well, that sucks, but it is cool that they're out.
Yeah, he's not a folk hero anymore.
If you drove that van, your next stop is a desolate slice of highway where you ball up your fist and punch yourself in the face and then ghost ride the van into a tree and then lay down next to it and go, oh, my God.
Yeah.
It can't be at a fucking drive-through at Wendy's. You cannot. Yeah.
Yeah, he had a pretty bad day.
You can't make that call from the Wendy's parking lot. You have to.
Morton Downey Jr. that shit.
Yeah, you got a Morton Downey Jr. and oh shit, I don't know why that movie. What, Brian? What's the movie where they went to wine country and he ghost rid the shop?
Oh yeah, Sideways. To make the car look more damaged, they drove it into a tree.
You better sideways that shit, bitch.
Do you think that prisoner bus just had one of those like window locks for the driver to just click? You know, like that would have solved the whole problem.
The child lock.
Oh, why didn't I just?
But with
windows?
leg restraints, and he got it, or, and I will be watching the story the next few days. Is that the story that the van driver is sticking to?
Right.
I just rolled down the window so he could spit, and just like that, he was gone in the night.
Yeah, I would be super laxed with leg restraints because, first off, you know how close a prisoner's dick gets to your ear when you try to put those bad boys on?
Sure, I didn't think
uncomfortably close.
And those guys have not felt the touch of a woman in a long, long time. And your hairy ass ears looking pretty fucking fetching about then.
They would do to you what you were going to do to Sonny if he gets an earring.
That's right. Well, no, Gina, first off, I'm not a weirdo.
Oh, sorry.
All right, sorry.
I didn't mean
and
to
Michael
that.
needs context.
Where'd that come from?
I told my son, please, context, and you're not
right.
describing.
I made you look like a psychopath. You go ahead and inform him.
If he wants to get one single stud like Jerry Rice, I got no problems with it. I'm saying when you start getting the big hoops that get progressively bigger. My God, what do they call those?
The gauges.
The gauges.
Oof,
you start pulling that gauge shit on me, son. And here's my promise. When it gets big enough for my dick, I will come up behind you at Thanksgiving. And that'll be your choice. That'll be solely your choice. Because you certainly don't have to do it. And by the way, you don't know the circumference of my dick, and I'm not going to tell you.
Especially in gauge form.
That's right. You don't. Yeah. Yep. That's right. But keep going, boy.
I don't know.
Let's see how this ends up.
It's tough to be a prisoner, escaped prisoner, and you kind of try to go to the Denny's and get something to eat, and you got handcuffs on. But the foot restraints, too, makes it tough. He can't say, oh, me and the boys were having some fun. I lost the key. Can I just get the grand slam? But, I mean, it's tough.
Yeah.
He's not going to make it far. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I feel like he's catchable. All right. Should we bring it home, Gina Grad?
You got it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news.
Gina Grad. That was the news with Gina Grad.